Froggy Friday, let's create. Jump on in, don't hesitate. Georgie's gorgeous gifts on display. Rumba Tony lighting the way.
Hi everyone, I am so excited to be here for my first Froggy Friday in collaboration with the original organiser was Girl in the Garage, and I'll be discussing that further on in the video. Now unfortunately the original video for this didn't film, so this is another frog I was doing at the same time, and the only thing I did differently was I put some blue resin tint into the resin and popped it into the frog as far as his legs. Then I popped it into my curing machine for about 40 minutes until it was quite sticky and thick and gloopy, like you can see. Now my plan for this was to do an underwater scene inside the frog. So the reason I wanted this thick and gloopy was because I want to pop some little fish all inside, but I want them at different depths, different layers. These fish I believe were from Sheen. And they are just little tiny plastic fish, all different colours. So I start by placing them in, some on the bottom, some in the middle, some on the top. And like I say, because of the viscosity of the resin, it means that these fish are not going to sink all to the bottom. If I hadn't let this cure to this stage, they all probably would have just sunk to the bottom and just been all one level. And I didn't want that. I wanted to be like they were swimming about. Now this did take a minute, purely because of how thick it was. I had to go really slowly as to not create any bubbles, because once there was bubbles in there I wasn't getting them out because of the viscosity of the resin. Now if you work with resin, you'll know that the thicker the resin, the higher chance of getting bubbles when you're popping anything into it. So I had to go really slowly. So this is where I'd like to thank the organisers of Froggy Friday. It was Lisa the Girl in the Garage, Karen the Dragon's Cave, got Lula at Nerd Goblin Art, Tim at the Base Resonator, and Gert at Gert Creates, as well as many more. The link will be down below in the description. To access that, you click on the More button underneath the video. I will also link the playlist at the end of this video. And I am so pleased to be part of such an amazing group of talented artists. So this is the frog after it's been in my curing machine for about another 40 minutes. So it's near enough cured, but still a little bit soft, so you're not going to get those defined lines. So I'm just sorting out a few of my little shells and seeing where they're going to fit and where I want to put them and how many I want to put in. You'll see in a second I completely changed my mind about the arrangement and decide that I want all these in the face of the frog. So yeah, I'm glad I did this bit, because if it had been full with resin, then it would have been a sticky mess, guaranteed. So I'm just seeing how many are going to fit. And like I say, where I want to place them. Now I've been staying away from the frogs because, well, we've got Froggy Friday and so many fab artists doing it, but I couldn't resist it anymore. So I was on Temu a couple of weeks back and thought, right, it's got to be done. And I ordered 2 frog moulds. So I have succumbed to the froggy madness. So whenever I'm putting shells into resin, I like to pop some UV resin into the little hole first. This stops the bubbles from popping up out of nowhere. So you have got to babysit it for a little while, but you haven't got to worry as much about the bubbles. So I just get a pin after I've poured a little bit of UV resin in, just to get it all inside the hole, and then pour a little bit more in and then pop it underneath my lamp. Now I did put this on my kitchen side and then decided better of it and popped it onto just a little cake tin. Now, I tend to keep these things. Now, I knew they'd come in handy at some point. I'm sure many of you are exactly the same. So now I'm, just, like I say, just popping it underneath my UV lamp and making sure that they are fully cured. So now they are cured. I'm going to mix my resin up and pop it into my debubbler machine. So I decided to show you how good the Resiners debubbler, or what's the actual name for it? Are they called vacuum chambers, maybe? If you know, drop me a comment, let me know. Anyway, so I thought, right, I'm going to give this a good mix by hand, and I did give it a good mix, and you'll see exactly how many bubbles I put into this. And this is the difference between mixing your resin gently and giving it a good stir. Now you can see there are absolutely loads and loads of bubbles in this. And just in case there isn't enough bubbles, I'm just going to mix it some more and just add just a few more to it. You can see loads and loads of bubbles. So this is the old version of the Resiners debubbler. Obviously this is on hyper speed, but it never gets old watching it. All them bubbles just literally disappear. Now this was on for about 9 minutes, and the very few bubbles that are left on the top, I just give a quick squirt with isopropyl alcohol. Now you can see the absolute clarity of this resin, which is a brilliant combination of Craft Resin's epoxy resin and the Resiners debubbling machine. So now my resin is completely clear. I'm just pouring some in so that I can pop the shells that we'd put the UV resin in into this layer. So I'm just making sure that there's a base layer of resin all in the underneath the chin, and I'm going about, I'd say, halfway up the leg. I wanted to make sure that I had enough room to put the layer of sand on the bottom. So I'm just pouring a little bit to start with so that I can pop my shells in where I want them. Now I already know whereabouts I'm going to place them because we'd already tried that before. So yeah, I'm just making sure that these shells are, I do press them down slightly because, like I say, this resin isn't completely cured. I'd say it's 90% cured. So one, I need to remember that I'm working upside down, so the tops of the shells need to be facing away from me, and I wanted where the hole was in the shell to be in the already partially cured resin, concentrating on under the chin area where I wanted most of the shells to be, but also the most likely place to get bubbles. I then poured what was left of the resin on top of the shells, only halfway up, and then popped it in my curing machine. I also added a little bit of fake moss into it, just into the back legs and underneath his chin, just to give it that little bit of added detail. Now at this point it was looking fab. I was really pleased with it. So now it's time for the final layer. Now this is 95% cured again, and you can see the resin is coming up halfway up these shells. So I just get some aquatic sand that I got from Amazon, I will link that below, and some clear resin. Now when you're putting sand into resin, it'll always sink, so unless there's enough sand to completely engulf the resin rather than the other way round, because if you don't, you'll end up with like a clear layer on the top of it, and all the sand will, and if this happens, it leaves like a muddied semi-clear layer on the top, and it looks awful. I know, because I've made this mistake. Now I've been working long enough with resin to know that when you're working with dry inclusions in resin, you can pretty much put as much as you like in, put as much glitter in, put as much sand in, and it will still cure. It's only when you're adding wet pigments or inclusions that you need to be careful of the percentage ratio, and it needs to be under 10% of the total amount of resin that you're using in order for it to cure. Now I know from watching other people's frogs that the problem places are underneath the chin and the toes. So that's where I concentrated on, making sure that I got enough sand and resin all underneath that chin and got my stick and give it a good poke about to make sure that I don't get that bubble. And then I'm dragging it out into the feet and into the toes. Now again, this did take a while. It was a bit time consuming, and at this point it had been in the curing machine twice, and we were now on the third layer. But because I have the curing machine, I thought I'd put it to good use. After using this a couple of times, I did remember why I'd stopped using it, as I'd had it for just over 2 years. And don't get me wrong, it had its use at the beginning and it did get a good use. But the plastic trays in them started to bow, so a lot of my pieces were either leaking onto the trays underneath or lopsided, which just created a lot more work. Because this had been sat a couple
Just
of
to damp
minutes,
the sand.
I don't know whether you can see, but
Because
on the top
I didn't
there's
want that clear layer.
forming, so I knew that there wasn't quite enough sand in there. So I mixed up a tiny bit more resin with probably double the amount of sand and just popped it on top just to make sure that I wasn't going to get that layer. So again, after one last poke about, I then got a pair of tweezers. Now I know I was being really careful not to actually hit the bottom of my mould, because the last thing I want to do is scratch it, and what I should have used was a dotting tool. But I went into every little toe, or the ends of the toes, and just made sure that there wasn't any air pockets or air bubbles underneath. Now again, this was time consuming, but the last thing I wanted was to demould it and to be missing a toe, especially because this is my first frog. So the one thing I know with sand is that it gathers a load of bubbles. So I just give it a bit of a squirt with some isopropyl alcohol, which solved that problem, and popped it back into the curing machine. Now this was it, ready for demould. Yeah, 3 times in the curing machine, about 10 hours work. And then I was really nervous about pulling this off, because I thought, no, you can guarantee the toes are going to break on me. But luckily enough, they didn't. So I really thought about how I was going to demould this, because I really didn't want to snap off any of his little toes. So I started off with loosening the toes and pulling it over the back legs, and then loosening the toes on the front and popping it over his head. And I was so pleased with the outcome. Now he does need a bit of filing on the bottom, but I'm just going to use a nail file for that, just so that there's not any sharp edges. He is absolutely stunning. It's like he swallowed a load of fish and they're all living in his stomach. I also need to finish his eyes off. Let me know in the comments whether you'd just left them clear or whether you'd have given him eyes. So, like I say, just to finish him off, I'm just going to give him some eyes. For this, I'm just using a black acrylic marker pen, and I'm just filling in where the indent is for his eyes. This works really well on resin, and once it dries, it tends not to come off. But you could just put a dab of UV resin over the top just to seal that black pen in. But I think he looks super cute with the little black eyes. So that's all for me today. And I hope you've liked my first Froggy Friday. So I'm going to leave you with some lovely glamour shots and a link to the rest of the playlist. I've been Tony from Georgie's Gorgeous Gift. Stay safe and happy crafting. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Froggy Friday, let's create. Jump on in, don't hesitate. Georgie's gorgeous gifts on display. Run by Tony, lighting the way. Big beauties and tiny toes, swampy kings and pondside shows. Artists painting frogs so bright, a ribbon revolution in the spotlight. Brushes swirl, the magic flows. Where it ends, no one knows. Froggy Friday, let's create.